Already finished drinking the wine. I threw the glass.
So you decide that eventually, the arguing was not getting it through enough to get your point across, so you assault my client with a glass. Did you expect no reaction from him?
You realize the glass I threw was one plastic and to missed him.
So you threw more than one at him?
No, I threw that one. It was a plastic glass.
In your statement to now Deputy Chief McDonnell, you stated that you threw a wine glass. So did you lie to the officer, or are you lying now?
Yes, wine glasses can be plastic, can they not? Or was that something I should have described in detail while laid up in a hospital bed in pain?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any further questions for the witness? Witness is excused. Next witness, please.
Your Honor, the state would like to call Lieutenant McDonnell.
It's Deputy.
Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Deputy Chief McDonnell, can you please state your position and your role in this case?
I do, Your Honor. I am currently the Deputy Chief of Police. My role in this case is as the lead investigator.
On the day you questioned Harlow Jefferson, what were you investigating?
I was investigating the cause behind her home being destroyed, and why she was in the hospital.
Did Harlow Jefferson provide you with a description of the assault, or any details about the defendant, Dallas Carter?
Yes, she did. She described how he punched her, and threw her against the wall, then continued beating on her, after she threw a pillow and wine glass at him during a verbal altercation.
Did Harlow express any concerns for her safety, or provide any indication that Dallas might escalate his behavior?
Yes, she expressed her concern and fear for her life should Mr. Carter discover she had spoken with the police.
Based on the investigation, were you able to gather evidence that led you to issue an arrest warrant for Dallas Carter?
Yes, I was.
Deputy Chief McDonnell, when the arrest warrant was issued, what was the plan for apprehending Dallas Carter?
Our plan was to first talk Mr. Carter outside peacefully to effect the arrest with little to no risk of life to himself, the officers involved, or any innocent bystanders in the area. I approached the front door and called for Mr. Carter to come out with his hands raised, announcing we had a warrant for his arrest.
On the day of the arrest, were there any challenges or obstacles that you anticipated?
We anticipated that Mr. Carter would make an attempt to flee out of the back of his home. To prevent that, we placed officers at the rear covering the back doors.
When did you first come into direct contact with Dallas Carter on the day of his arrest?
We first came into direct contact with Mr. Carter after a woman claiming to be his defense lawyer named Arthur McGregor met us outside. She wanted to see the warrant before we were allowed to make entry into the house. After she was shown the warrant, I detained Ms. McGregor and called for Mr. Carter to exit the home. It was at that time that Mr. Carter ran towards the back of the house and opened fire on one of our officers. I didn't make direct contact with him until he fled to a rock in his neighbor's yard, where he was given ample more opportunities to surrender.
Were any officers injured during the attempt to arrest Dallas Carter?
Yes, myself and Officer Daniela Waters were injured. Officer Waters sustained a gunshot wound to her arm. I was fortunate enough to only have severe bruising on my chest after Mr. Carter shot me, striking me in the chest here and here.
After the initial shooting incident, what did Dallas do next?
After the initial shooting event, Mr. Carter fled to a rock in his neighbor's yard. Once I came up on him, he grabbed a young woman holding her hostage at gunpoint and threatened to kill her if we didn't back off.
Your Honor, the state rests their case.
Defense your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Deputy Chief, congratulations on the promotion, first off. I'm sure you worked hard for it. If I may, it was mentioned in Miss Jefferson's statement to you that your truck was in her driveway? Why was it there in the first place?
Thank you, and yes, it was. Ms. Jefferson and I have known each other for years prior to coming to Portofino. I was there visiting her, and she was showing me the renovations she'd done to her house. I left my truck there when I was called away for a search and rescue operation with the Coast Guard.
So you very obviously trust her. That's good. It's hard to find decent people to trust nowadays. Following the incident, and knowing that Miss Jefferson was physical first, did you happen to go and find my client, Mr. Carter, before filing the initial report?
No, I did go to find Mr. Carter before filing the initial report.
So, you did go to find my client to get his statement? I don't think I received a copy of that statement. Do you happen to recall what was said in that conversation?
I think you might have misunderstood me. I did not go to find Mr. Carter before filing the initial report.
Oh, all right. So you did not go to find my client during a domestic dispute and violence situation. What did you do instead, Deputy Chief?
Instead, I waited for sufficient evidence to back up the victim's statement to apply for an arrest warrant for Mr. Carter.
Okay. So again, without taking a statement of events from Mr. Carter himself of the altercation?
Unfortunately, yes.
Right. So we get to the day of the warrant's execution. Did you have any other setbacks other than the person coming out advising you of being his current counsel at that time?
You mean besides also being shot at? Yes, the initial warrant we received from Judge Heatherly had the wrong time on it. When the error was pointed out by Ms. McGregor, our then Deputy Chief Derek Johnson contacted the Chief Justice, who had the judge issue a new arrest warrant with the correct time on it, and immediately sent it via email.
The warrant had an incorrect time at its execution. And you also detained my client's then lawyer, denying him his Mirandized right of having a lawyer or legal counsel.
Yes, we did detain Ms. McGregor as I stated earlier. Mr. Carter had plenty of access to his lawyer while we spoke to her, and tried talking him into surrendering. He was given more than enough time to do so. We determined that his lawyer was possibly stalling to help him make some sort of an attempt to escape police custody. At no time did he or his lawyer request to speak to each other.
From what it shows in the footage of your own body cam, may I add, it was clearly stated by that counsel that she would not obstruct.
Yes, anytime we are executing an arrest warrant, it is standard police procedure that everyone that is not law enforcement be detained while we execute the arrest warrant and enter the property. This is done for our safety, as we are not mind readers and cannot know what someone's true intentions are. Once Mr. Carter was in custody, Ms. McGregor was released and no longer detained.
Well, actually, let me correct you there. In the great state of California, the only time a lawyer or legal counsel may be detained is if they are obstructing justice or have a warrant themselves, and from what was said by that legal counsel, her words, verbatim to you were, "I am not about to obstruct. But I do have a duty to make sure my client doesn't walk out into a firing squad," end quote. Does that sound about right to you, Deputy Chief?
Yes, it does. But again, she made no attempt to speak with her client, or ask to speak with him to get him to surrender peacefully.
All right. So she is detained, declining my client from his counsel to speak to you peacefully. And a firefight ensues. She leans her head to the side. But wait. Let me go back for just a moment. You said that you were lead investigator on this case? And you've known Miss Jefferson for years. What is the nature of your relationship with Miss Jefferson?
She is a close friend.
A close friend. Can you flip through these pieces and explain what you see on these screenshots and documents for me?
Looks like Ms. Jefferson and I enjoying a friendly lunch at the new seafood place, and Harlow at my house defending herself from your client, and a clip of Harlow making a face at me, on my body cam. Something she's done since I've known her.
So you were not able to see the shot of Miss Jefferson naked in the shower at your home?
Was I able to? Yes. Have I seen it before now? No. I don't make it a habit of viewing my home cameras unless I have a need to, such as a known criminal showing up at my house and making threats towards a friend he's already been violent towards.
Right. A criminal that you didn't get the statement of. And had assaulted your close friend.
Yes, that same one. A man who beats and hides behind women.
I will correct myself here. I do need to clarify something. In the actual footage of this clip of Miss Jefferson, is that not your face on the screen there? If you don't mind taking a closer look.
Yes, that is my face.
So you were watching your close friend, naked in the shower? Do you make habit of facetiming your close friends in the shower, Deputy Chief?
No, I was not watching her shower. At that time when she FaceTimed me, I believe I was on patrol either for the police department or the Coast Guard. I wasn't really paying attention to my phone.
Right. Well, which was it? I'm sure the timestamp would be able to clarify which work you were doing. That actually is not the point. My point here is that there is an obvious conflict of interest, bearing in mind your close relationship